Our project is on Choice Theory by William Glasser, and I'm Cindy Kotanko.
And I'm Mohammed.
William Glasser is a 20th century humanist, educator, psychiatrist who radically changed education and curriculum in the 20th century. He spent 50 years writing books and giving and teaching about choice theory. He established the William Glasser Institute, and the original name of the theory was control theory. It was changed in 1996 to choice theory. He was a humanist, and he died in August 23, 2013.
We always have a choice in every situation, but we don't always have a good choice. According to Glasser, choice theory states that a person behaves in a given way to meet his or her own personal needs at a particular time, and that intrinsic motivations bears more influence on human behavior than does extrinsic motivation. From this definition, we can easily understand that a choice theory is not more than how and why we behave.
All individuals, according to Glasser, are driven by genetically transmitted needs that serve as instructions for attempting to live our lives. Some of these needs are physical and some of them are psychological, but all are important and necessary. Glasser says that our basic needs are survival, which is food and clothing and shelter. We also need to belong and be accepted by loving, sharing, and cooperating with others. We need power and importance, and the way we achieve power is by feeling successful in what we do and being recognized. Freedom and independence comes from a very early age when we're allowed to make very small, important decisions, and they increase as we grow older. And Glasser says we also need to have fun.
Starting from birth and continuing throughout our lives, each person places significant role models, significant positions, and significant systems of belief, such as religion, cultural values, and icons, into a mostly unconscious framework Glasser called our quality world. Glasser mostly ignores the issues of negative role models and stereotype in choice theory. Quality world refers to cognitive and visual pictures and perceptions that represent what people find meaningful in their lives and that they use to decide what they would like to experience repeatedly. Our quality world images are our role models of an individual's world of parents, relations, positions, and beliefs. How each person's quality world is somewhat unique, even in the same family of origin, is taken for granted because experiences vary from person to person. If a schoolwork doesn't translate to particular and useful benefit, it might not be part of a student's quality world. Students, parents, teachers, administrators, and community leaders need to have an open dialogue and equal voice into what makes a quality world.
According to Glasser, students need to have some input into what they learn and how they learn it. In order to have a say, students must learn to make choices. And to make positive choices, Glasser has 7 connecting habits and 7 deadly habits. The connecting habits are things we need to teach to our children so they can make positive choices, and the deadly habits are things that we need to avoid and get rid of in our lives. The 7 habits that are the connecting habits and the deadly habits, it's deadly to criticize, but it's connecting to care and support. Blaming is deadly, but encouragement is helpful in connecting. Complaining and listening. Nagging and accepting. Threatening and trusting. Punishing and respecting. Bribing for control or negotiating differences or befriending. If we focus on the connecting habits, our children will learn to make positive choices and will feel positive about themselves.
Central beliefs of choice theory. Human behavior is internally motivated and chosen by the individual. Our behavior is an attempt to satisfy our basic needs built into our genetic structure. All human behavior is purposeful. We make the best choice we can based on the information we have. We are responsible for our behavior. According to Glasser, force does not work. Classroom instruction will have to change to meet students' needs and choices. Quality must be emphasized in curriculum, teaching, and learning.
There are two types of teachers. There's boss teachers and lead teachers. Boss teachers are bossy. Lead teachers lead by example. Glasser emphasizes the need for quality teachers. These are teachers who provide warm, supporting environments. They lead by example. They only require work that is useful and meaningful to the students' lives, and they expect quality from their students. In a quality classroom, teachers and students discuss their work and decide what quality is. They also discuss evaluation and what is important to be evaluated. Quality teachers teach that doing a good job produces good feelings, and you should always do your best, because doing your best and doing quality work never hurts anyone. It's always a positive.
The opposing points of view came from Watson and Skinner, who are both behaviorists, as opposed to humanists. Behaviorism is a systematic approach to the understanding of human and animal behavior. It assumes that the behavior of a human or an animal is a consequence of that individual's history, including especially reinforcement and punishment. Thus, Although behaviorists generally accept the important role of inheritance in determining behavior, they focus primarily on environmental factors. Watson and Skinner argued the choice theory in 4 points, and they said this theory viewed the external environment as the major determinant of behavior. Mental illnesses results from bad choices. Humans does not have control over own behavior. Behavior results from personal history and environment.
Although Watson, Skinner, and Freud had an opposing view to Glasser, a man named William Watson Purkey was also a humanist like Glasser, and they looked for and encouraged positive characteristics in people. Similar to Glasser's choice theory is William Watson Purkey's invitational education. Humanism refers to the perspective that affirms a notion of human freedom and progress. It's a belief in science rather than strictly revelation, and it values inherent. There is inherent value in every human being. Dr. Glasser and Dr. Purkey seek to find, encourage, and applaud in development in the most positive characteristics in people. It doesn't matter if it's a student, a disabled student, a teacher, a counselor, a parent, a peer, a school bus driver. Everybody, according to Glasser, is valuable. Glasser's and Purkey's ideas are very similar. The main difference is some of the terminology that's used in these two schools of thought. For example, Glasser in his choice theory is similar to Purkey in what he calls invitational guidance theory. When Glasser talks about survival, Purkey talks about security, which is basically the same thing. Glasser talks about love and belonging, and Purkey also talks about belonging and personal relationships. Freedom and fun, and Purkey says it's dynamic self-concept. Power, according to Glasser, translates to Purkey's self-actualization. And then in Glasser's theory, there are the 7 caring habits and the 7 deadly habits that we talked about earlier. And in Purkey's, that go along with the 7 deadly and 7 caring habits are trust and respect and optimism, and intentionally or unintentionally disinviting people into our lives.
A principal or a teacher creating a quality school or an inventing school will be providing success, happiness, and intellectual growth for most students.
In conclusion or resolution, In a choice theory, quality is very important. It must be taught by teachers to students so that dialogue is a two-way street. It needs to be discussed and dialogued. Schoolwork needs to be done quality and done well, because to do it well and with good quality brings good feelings, according to Glasser. Glasser says that success or failure depends on quality and ownership of one's work and actions. So the person owns their actions and they are responsible for the consequences. So it is no longer a mental illness or that determines when we do bad acts or make bad choices. Teachers should avoid coercive and punitive forms of punishment, but they still should not tolerate destructive behavior. Students and teachers must have regular classroom open discussions to promote an environment of trust where teachers and students can risk being vulnerable. An interesting quote from someone writing about Glasser says that if teachers can get students to see the importance of courtesy, no other rules may be necessary. Because almost all problems that occur between teachers and students are caused by unsatisfactory relationships. Glasser promotes replacing traditional discipline, which he calls external control, with talking and listening to students on a regular basis, and moving to prevent misbehavior as soon as you sense impending trouble. As the old saying goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.